one desirable. I do what I want when I want and how I want it. Leave you with the one in the air, that's how I roll. I got tons of soul, I'm a true collectible. Famous, also famous, number one desirable. I do what I want when I want and how I want it. Leave you with the one in the air, that's how I roll. I got change to throw, I don't care about no gold. Better, so much better, flipping incredible. Always.
Hey Untamables, it's Kiana Dene, poet and author. Just wanted to stop by and ask, have any of you read any of my poetry lately? If not, you can pick up my books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, anywhere else you get your books, and of course my website at kianadene.wordpress.com. Now back to the show. Hey Untamables.
And now, here is your host.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Writer Wednesday, because it's time for hashtag Writer Wednesday. Tips with Crystal, offering advice to aspiring new and seasoned authors about all aspects of the literary world. We are presented by Untamed Publishing. Allow us to help you unlock your unlimited writing potential. If you are an aspiring new or seasoned author, head over to www.untamedpublishing.net for a variety of services to assist you on your publishing journey. And we're back with our 4-part segment, which is called Pen to Profit, Financial Mastery for Creative Entrepreneurs. And we're on the 3rd episode. So yay, I'm excited about this. And today we will be talking about revenue remix and diversified income as a creative. Okay, so as you see, I have my lovely friend Quintaria Brunson, who is helping me with this segment. I reached out to her and was like, I want to, do a business segment for our authors, but, not just authors, as she said, bloggers, anybody who's on social media and using it to put themselves out there, to market themselves, to share their work. This is for you guys. Now, I did explain to her that we do have some authors and some bloggers who take advantage of what she's given us, but we have some people who don't. Or maybe it's some things that people who are already doing it still need help with. And this is what Quintaria is for. So let me just go ahead and say, Quintaria, you can go ahead and take the floor. But before I do that, I'm just going to also tell you that we will also be just with this episode, like I said, it's called Revenue Remix, Diversify Income as a Creative. And Quintaria will explore various alternative revenue streams available to authors, but like I said, creatives. She will discuss how to leverage different platforms and mediums, such as online courses, speaking engagements, and merchandise to diversify and stabilize income. So if you wrote a book, or if you out here blogging, there is more to do that you can stabilize and make more income. Now, Quintaria, if you want to just go ahead and introduce yourself again, just for people who might just be dropping in on the 3rd one.
I'm just sitting here thinking about the great conversations that we've had so far. And I'm ready to dig in today, because today is how to get that money.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
How to get that money. Well, for those who are of you who are just joining this series, or you're new to me and what I do, my name is Quintaria Brunson, and I am a financial strategist for entrepreneurs in particular. And what I do is I help entrepreneurs understand the importance of an exit strategy. And we built that exit strategy through profitable business systems, putting your business in position to eventually sell or franchise, or capitalizing on possible licensing opportunities through lifetime income. And sometimes we incorporate real estate aspects in that as well. But ultimately, we, my team and I, my company, the Brunson Approach, we put together a winning game plan from a financial standpoint for those of us who are entrepreneurs, or who are open to building a legacy on our terms in the way that we desire. So that is my passion. That is what I do. I am determined to help all that I can. I say all the time, I feel like I be screaming from the rooftops, like, take this idea, do that, because
Yes, yes,
so many people leave money on the table, and it's just because they're unaware or they don't realize how simple, not easy. I always want to emphasize that it's not easy. I'm not telling you it's like winning the lottery, and like, and all your all the effort you need, it won't have to be put in, but it is simple steps that you can put in place so that you can have winning strategies and you can expand your businesses. Just as a quick recap to go over what we discussed in the previous episodes, the number one thing to remember is that you are a business first. I
yes,
know that sounds so counterintuitive for those of you who are creatives out there, because you feel that the creativity comes first because you see that, and that's what like wakes you up and motivates you. But in order to protect that space and for you to really capitalize and expand your creative gifts, you've got to position yourself as a business first. Business has parameters, business has business plans, business has a whole structure of what the goals are. You're tracking that. It's more than just out here hustling day to day. Even if you're making money, if you have not set your business up properly, you're doing yourself a complete disservice. And a lot of these opportunities may not be available to you, or not in scalable manners, if you don't first understand that you are a business and you need to set and structure your business up as such. Another
right,
that is that you protect yourself. You protect yourself as an individual, and you protect your intellectual property and all of the wonderful things that creatives come up with that make the world a better and beautiful place. You're able to protect those when you separate yourself as the creator from the business of the items and the information that you create. And then finally, last week we kind of got into the nuts and bolts of taxes and the legality of business, but it all just stems from starting with the mindset of I am a business owner, even if it is something that is not I'm not excited about doing the business part of it. Remember what I said, you sometimes you have to do it until you can hire someone to do it for you, but we have
right,
to invest in ourselves. We have to invest in ourselves and invest in our businesses. And sometimes that investment is your time to learn how to do it, or even just to have the discipline to know that, hey, I have got to do the business work in order to protect my creative products. Or two, like I said, in addition to investing in yourself, connect with communities like this community here, the Brunson approach, our community. We're also doing the Pin to Profit series, which we'll have more information on as well too. So those are just a few of the things. But like I said, when we started this, I am super excited to get in and dig in today, because we are talking about money, money, money. So
and
I
who
can't.
doesn't like money? Who doesn't
Yes,
like money?
yes, and let me take a step back. Let me digress. I say that a lot. I digress, but let me digress and say, you don't have to do. I have tons of ideas for individuals to leverage their business as creatives. There are lots of things that you can do.
Hmm.
Don't get inundated and feel like, oh my gosh, she said 20 things. How am I? Pick one or two, like,
Right.
pick one or two that kind of resonate with you, and take it from there. If this is something that you want to um if this is something that you want to capitalize on and incorporate into your legacy, because one thing that I have to understand, and I realize, is that not everybody wants the type of business that I would like. Not everyone is looking to use their business or the products that they create. Not everyone wants to necessarily use them to fund their retirement, or to have a financial legacy that they can leave, for generations to come. But if it is your goal, to scale and leverage the creative products that you are coming up with, or that you will soon, or sometime in the future, come up with. Here are some tips and some things that we can do to really help you with that. So we can just dig right on in. One of the things that you said was online courses and
Yes.
workshops. And
Let's talk about that first.
yes, let's
So,
let's
how
let's get into it.
Okay, so like I said, as a blogger, but then you have authors, then you have, well, I would say a blogger, but I would also say, I kind of changed my title online to a content creator because I'm creating content,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's me, putting a book out, me advertising, marketing an author's book, or, marketing, because I'm marketing it two ways. I'm putting it out as this book is now released. And then once I do a review, I'm marketing it again. So, how important is it like to create? I'm not going to say how important is it, but what are benefits of creating an online course?
Yeah, well. One thing I'll say is this. Again, it's dealer's choice with this.
Right.
Every business owner has the opportunity to hear all of these options and decide what fits them better, or what fits you better at this point. I know that there were certain services that I offered 5 years ago in my business that it no longer makes sense for me to offer
Right.
now, or we've outgrown that, or our client base has outgrown that. But I always make sure that we are incorporating multiple streams of revenue, and that we are truly scaling our business in such a way. But the beauty with online courses and workshops is authors can create and sell courses related to their content. So think about this. If you have a book that you have out, you can add to that and do so much auxiliary items with that, with adding online courses and workshops. If let's say that okay, so here's an example. A mystery writer offers a course about crafting the perfect who did it book, or text techniques for mystery writers. So you can share and position yourself as an expert in the industry, or even the genre that you're in addition to selling the book. And you can also leverage that to promote your books and content and other things of that nature. But it definitely provides an additional way, if you are, especially if you're someone who, like myself, enjoys teaching and providing knowledge to others. Online courses and workshops are definitely something that you should consider. There's also, I mean, it's so many options. I don't know if I should just say them all and we pick a few that we want to kind of dig into, but it's so many options. You could do affiliate marketing, speaking engagements. You could do
Let's
membership.
talk about the speaking engagements.
Okay, so speaking engagements, again, as a creative, you could have paid speaking opportunities at conferences, literary festivals, schools, corporate events, you name it. But I think that people miss, especially for myself, being someone who is often hired and paid to do speaking engagements. I am amazed at, like how many places and spaces will pay you just for, a couple of moments of your time to share
Hmm.
your expertise and to provide insight to an additional community. So another example is, let's say, a children's book author. You may speak at educational conferences or learning in the classroom conferences. Even a teacher, or let's say like a division or department of a particular school. But it's so many opportunities to speak. Some opportunities are already there, and some, you, with just a little putting your thinking cap on, you can create avenues where perhaps it may not have been a opportunity that someone thought of, but someone will say, hey, like, we love to have you come to our local book fair at, you know, at the local elementary school and speak to the kids at that point. But all of this can be used for additional content. And again, it positions you as the authority in your genre, not just as in addition to an author. So to have a more colorful portfolio, a more colorful bio about yourself, I think speaking engagements do a great job of that. Like I said, you can also do membership sites. There are merchandising options. Real
Yes.
talk, with drop shipping set up the way that it is, I don't think there is a single business that could not benefit from having some level of merchandise you know, incorporated into their business. You know, selling mugs and t-shirts and workbooks that complement the actual book. The list goes on and on. The beauty with merchandise is the sky is the limit. If you are a sci-fi author, and depending on what, you know, like your books are, you can incorporate aspects of the book. If, let's say, if you're a sci-fi author and your main character has a magical sword, you know, like, you could sell magical swords,
Magical
or,
food.
you know,
Right.
yeah, you know, like, you could go, it just it's endless. But I think that merchandise is a simple way to have a stream of revenue, because remember, what have I said again and again? A business is not the money that you make based on the knowledge in your brain, or that you have to use your two hands or your actual voice to do. A business becomes more a business when you have scalable systems that are working and generating revenue, and
Right.
generating revenue, and generating revenue without
And
you having to physically do something, or your efforts. Let's say that you take a day or two to put your marketing, I mean your merchandise packaging together or whatever. You
right.
know, it takes you a week to do that. After you complete that, the system is in place and it can just roll on from there. So that's a great way for creatives to capitalize on that as well. Consulting and coaching is also another way for creatives to expand. Again, you want to position yourself as a thought leader and an expert in your within your genre, within what you do. So coaching and consulting, for those who are open to teaching, or who have a knack for that, that is another area that creatives can win and generate revenue, in addition to just their book sales or the information that they have on their blogs. Freelance writing is another way, or example of ways that creatives can write, can generate additional revenue. Example, let's say a travel writer wants to contribute to articles about travel, to travel magazines or websites, or just general places to share insights on tips or places that they have visited. So in addition to perhaps if you're a travel blogger and you have blogs, you know, like you got a banging social media with all of your travel experiences, you can still solicit yourself to travel magazines and other travel blogs as well, to provide your level of insight as well, and people pay for that. um we hop in, if you know, I can keep going, but let me know if you want me
I
to
was
dig
going to say,
more.
so let's talk about the merchandise piece, because yes, you're right. The speaking engagements are great, and you can have speaking engagements as a blogger as well. And that is coming from, you know, just going to book events and maybe being a host for a certain segment, doing that
Mhm.
book event. So also, like, if it's bloggers, they, you know, you I just feel like as a blogger, you can do a lot. And that's something I had to learn coming in. You know,
Yeah,
when I first came in, I
we
was just
had
like,
discussions about this in your strategy sessions as
yes,
well.
yes,
And with merchandise, you can go a couple of ways. You can purchase merchandise and just put your logo, right? You can purchase
that
a
is
mug,
true.
put your
Mhm.
logo, or or whatever your brand, how you're marketing yourself as a brand. But you can also highlight digital products, again, creating something once, like a planner, or again, going back to the example I gave, if you're a sci-fi writer and your main character has a magical sword, maybe in the magical land they have a journal, or like a I don't know much about swords, like maybe it's color changeable sword cases or something like that,
I was
you
about to,
know.
you know what? This is what happens with me and it drives me crazy. But that kind of just gave me a whole idea. You have that magical sword. If you're doing it digital, you have that magical sword. And guess what that magical sword is? That magical sword is your crayon, your
uh,
marker, and you can use it to color and create the world as a coloring book.
but that's my point. It's
Point. Yes, it's
endless.
little things. Yes.
It's endless. If you but that is why it is so imperative that creatives understand, so that the you have been blessed with the gift to create new and original content for the world to enjoy, right? But with
Right.
that gift, if you put on your business hat, or even if you have to force yourself to say, well, how do I look at this through a business? You can come up with so many ways to generate
Ways. Yes.
revenue. Whereas those individuals who are kind of more like myself, who are very systems and analytical, and we definitely have ways that we can earn revenue. But what amazes me as is that creatives have an infinite amount of ways that they can generate
Yes,
revenue.
that is
And more
true.
often than not, it's usually the analytical, like those of us that are using the other side of our brain, that tend to capitalize on streams of revenue first. But I believe it's because those who are coming from a business place first. So we're looking at every opportunity through an angle on how can this solve a problem and provide a solution for someone, and how can this generate revenue for myself. So creatives
So
is no different.
let's talk about this now. The merchandise. Now, like I said, I'm a blogger. I'm in the book community. If you see something that someone else created, okay, let me just say this: mugs are a big thing in the blogger community. Bookmarks, stickers. How, as a creative, even as a business, because like I said, you guys are business, as Quintaria said, you're a business before you are a creative, an author. Once you know you're going to do that, you should say you're a business first, right? That's the first question. Okay, so my second question is, if you feel like the community is oversaturated, what would be the next step? Like, oh, I see everybody doing mugs. I see everybody doing t-shirts. What should I look at? What, even if it is oversaturated, what are some tips for people who feel that?
Well, the first thing is to get out of your own head and understand that you're coming from a place of scarcity. There
Right,
are hundreds of hamburger restaurants around the world, but if you want to open a hamburger restaurant, we don't have yours. So
right.
the first thing is a mindset type thing, and know that. And then after you shake off your own fear and your imposter syndrome, or whatever you're going through, coming from a place of scarcity as opposed to abundance, then you need to say, like I said, who am I solving a problem for? Even as
Hmm.
a creative, you're solving a problem for someone. So once you figure out who am I solving a problem for, and how do I best solve the problem to meet their needs, like like it doesn't matter how many bloggers out there are doing mugs, because, for going back to that sci-fi example, like they're doing mugs for mompreneurs, but your mugs are, they, when you lift it up, it lights up or something like that, and even if you're, and I don't want people to think that they have to go and patent, like a whole new invention or something like that. Your brand alone, the people who know, like, and support you, many of them will, like, people are fanatical when they like you,
Mhm.
and they like the content that you provide. They want to support you. They want to, like, share in the experience with you. They want, like, almost like a 4D experience. They want to touch, taste, feel, so I think that you should capitalize on that. So to answer your question specifically, like, if you wonder, like, oh my gosh, it's so oversaturated, one, check yourself. Because if you're worried, if you're worried that something is so oversaturated, you're thinking more about outside influences and not what you have inside to give. Because quite frankly,
Right.
it's almost like a choir. Like, I sang for years, and in the soprano section, it could be 30 of us, but my voice was my voice. Like, we're all singing soprano, but everyone in the choir has their own.
Everyone is different.
Everyone
Right.
has their own voice. So that would be my statement to that. Now, while we're on that topic, I must say, because when I had, for those of you who don't know, I know Crystal does. I produced a national fashion show for about 8 years, and so often I would have to send out cease and desist letters because other people would mimic what I was doing, or protect your brand, because so it doesn't mean that 5 bloggers can't make mugs, but if you have proprietary information or a proprietary product or something that you feel that this is unique to me and what I am bringing to the marketplace, you've got to protect that. And on the flip
Wait a minute.
side,
Can we go back on that
one
once
more
you
thing,
finish your statement, and then I'm gonna go back on that.
on the flip side, do your research so you're not infringing on others. Sometimes
That's
people think that just because an idea pops in their head, that it is the first time the great universe, the broad universe, the universe that has been here, eternal. This is the first idea that has popped it, that the universe has shared with anyone, like, to come up with. And usually that is not the case, like, like, so just make sure that you don't have a bright idea and assume that because it's a bright idea for you, no one else has had this idea. You want to double check to make sure that you don't put yourself in position to be infringing on someone else's copyrights, or their protected material, and things of that nature. So yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up because I saw this video and it was on TikTok. So I'm not sure if anybody's ever seen the girl in Atlanta who goes into the parking lot and does, like, sipping some tea and giving you all of the tea of what's going on. I'm a fan of hers. I love her. So she had a video on TikTok stating that it was another creative so the girl had some teacups made, because she always came with a cup and had the little spoon stirring there talking about the tea. So she had little teacups made, had her little saying on the front, and she sold them. So someone else came and said, "Oh, you stole my idea, blah, 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 blah." So they went, had to go back and forth. Come to find out, they both used the same company. So that
I don't
company
understand
took,
what you mean by that. They both use the same
so
company.
they both had the same company. Their cups were made the exact same way. It's
Oh,
just
but
that
but did anyone have who trademarked it?
well, that's the thing. That one of them trademarked it. The
So
thing was, the
neither one
girl
of them
knew.
own it. Quite frankly,
Right.
it's a
No, that's what I'm saying. That's
yeah.
that's what they had to come out with. So the second girl, I can't even think of her real name, but basically she came out and stated that, they found out because they were going back and forth trying to figure, like, no, I didn't steal it. And then they asked, they came up and said, well, where did you get your cup made? So they
But
got it made from the
I
same
hate to
company.
interrupt here.
Mhm.
But the point is, it's almost like fighting over who owns a rental unit. Neither it still was a moot point because
Well,
quite
no, the
frankly,
cup company, she made their cups the same. That was what
no,
they were.
but you're missing my point though.
No,
Neither
I know what
one
you're
of
saying.
them
Yeah.
trademarked it. So even using the same company, I who just heard this story a moment ago, and this is so important for business owners to understand.
Right. That's why
If
I was
you
bringing
have
it up.
not protected it legally, I can hear
Right.
this story right now, and many corporations do, and I can go and buy it and stop both of them while they're
Yep.
arguing over where you got your cups from. Who trademarked it? First and foremost, do you even know what items can be trademarked and which ones cannot? What is better for to be copywritten and which so it, that and I know that we don't know what we don't know. But this
Right.
goes back to my point of we feel entitled to something just because the idea popped up in our mind. No, unless you protect it, if you share a great idea that's unprotected, thank you. That's your loss. Thank you.
Right.
I'll
Because
take
if they
that.
see, right, because if they see that people are making money from it, they're going to say, oh, well, I'm going to do the same thing. And it has been done numerous times. They just
But
try to make a little
what's the
change on it.
whole
But
answer?
yeah,
So, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. So when
right.
people imitate what you're doing and mimic what you're doing, it's because they're flattered by it. But in a business setting, protect your intellectual property,
That is so
yeah,
true.
protect
Yep.
your and build a strong brand. Like I don't know fully that. Thank you for sharing that. That's my first time hearing that
I'll find it
particular
and send it
story.
to you because I
But
was shocked to see that. Yeah, I was
but
shocked
it
to see
still
that. I'm like,
sounds
it's a
like
cup.
two
Yeah.
people, but neither one of them. From the little I've heard, I feel like both parties sound like they need to take several steps back
Well,
and
no,
put
she the one. I see. I didn't ever see the other person. I saw the girl. Like I said, I see all the time. So it was basically as if she was like, "No, I didn't steal anything. This is, my design." Because it was like her little logo and her saying on it. So the girl was saying she stole her cup idea, and I'm just like, a cup. So yeah, like I said, I'll send it to you so you can look at it yourself. But it
yeah.
was kind of, I
Well,
just thought it was weird because it's a cup,
I'll
and
say the same. Going back to my the fashion week, 90% of the people that I sent cease and desist were like, "Oh, I had never heard of you or die. It is not my fault if you didn't do the research to
your
find
research, right,
out if someone has already copywritten or trademarked an idea or brand.
right.
That is not, it's who gets there first. I've actually had clients, and this client in particular, I'm not going to say their name because I've not asked for permission to, but for years I was working with a client. She's in the beauty industry, a celebrity stylist, and I kept telling her for years, trademark this, trademark
Mm-hmm.
this, trademark this. And finally, when she went to trademark it, it was taken.
Taken.
Had
Yep.
to redo her entire brand and entire. Now it ended up that she ended up elevating even higher, but she did. I can't say that she didn't take it seriously because we were going through coaching and she was growing but it took her longer than I uh would have waited to go to do the trademark. But when she went to trademark, it was gone. And to her, she was, it was a valuable lesson, but she thought that her idea was so unique to her that no other body else in the beauty industry was doing it. And sure enough,
They
someone
were.
else
Somebody
trademarked
saw
it
it.
before she
It
did.
takes one little thing. It takes one little second for you to do something and someone sees it and they thinking, oh, well, let me check and see. So like I said, if you're not trademarking it, the next person going to look and say, oh, well, it's working for her. Let me go ahead and take it. But let me see if she
Yeah.
trademarked it.
Yeah. Now it on in this same on this same street is also licensing content. So you can have rights to books or adaptations of your movies, content and merchandise that you can have licenses for people to buy to use or reuse your content. I think we already mentioned subscription services
Right.
where you could offer a subscription that includes like perhaps let's say you're doing a series and the subscribers get advanced copies of the series, or they have to follow and they read a chapter and then the next chapter will be released within the series. I mean, within the subscription at a certain date and time or whatever. It's countless ways that you could set that up, but it definitely is a cool way to kind of manage when you curate related books and book themes, right? Writing retreats and writing workshops, and again, this goes back to those who like to teach and inform, but in addition to your actual creative material, people will pay you for the methodology on how you create, how you write. Like one of the fastest trends in terms of revenue is courses, workshops, and things of that nature. So writing retreats and writing workshops are great ways to get some money, like without just having to write the book or write the blog or write the article in order to generate revenue. Finally, the one thing that is so near and dear to me, because the community that I serve and really want to win the most does not capitalize on this as much as we should, and that is collaborations and partnerships. Partnering with other authors, other brands to align your book themes to a broader audience. That too, although
we do have a lot of collaborations in this community. I can say that.
Yeah,
they do collaborate.
And I'll say this: in collaborating, is it revenue generating? Are you solving a problem that you can charge people for? So for us to meet up, and I'm saying this in particular to minority communities, because I know, like, I don't know how this lighting look, but I am a minority woman, but I will say that oftentimes we meet up, we have great masterminds and wonderful ideas. We pat each other on the back and all of that, but no revenue was generated. That's not the point. Like I have friends that we can meet up with, and real talk, it would be even better if we exchanging money in those meetings. But I have friends that I grew up with, a close girlfriend circle. I have a nice support system that I can meet up with and money is not involved. But if I am doing a collaboration or a partnership under a business caveat, revenue should be generated.
That's true.
Let's just say that right here, right now. Revenue should be generated. Now, not everything is going to knock it out the ballpark, but far too many creatives and people in minority communities, I'll just speak directly to what I know, get together and have a great time and still leave broke. That is not the goal. Not on this episode. That's not the goal.
No. Okay, so we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about leveraging digital platforms and for broader income diversification and to diversify and stabilize income. We kind of have hit on it, but I just kind of want to go into it a little bit more. So like I said, we're going to take a break, and then we'll be back.
Don't that feel good, y'all? This one gonna feel good to you. Like this. Slip into a fuck 'em dress, heels to match, cup to breast, cocoa butter on my body, bet that ass will do the rest, body or behind my ear.
I know where he like it at.
Hair pinned up or let it hang.
Really ain't decided yet.
I see he opted for the butterscotch leather clogs, navy slacks and a button down dripping sauce. Smelling like a grown man should. Bought his paper and spreading love back to the hood. He know the way I'm feeling, him ain't leaving, no doubt. Best believe that he protecting me and chasing for clout. Even though he stay up in it, tonight we go.
Untamed Publishing has partnered with Katie Creatives to present to you UP pre-made book covers. With over 200 covers to choose from, we're sure you'll find exactly what you need to fit your author needs. Just visit www.untamedpublishing.net.
All righty, and we are back. And we have been talking about diversing income as a creative. We've covered, like creating online courses, talking about speaking engagements, talking about merchandising. Make sure you're trademarking your merchandise if you haven't, because you don't want to be going back and forth with somebody
Or
when
trademark
you
your
to
brand, because you don't
or
have
your
to.
brand. Yes,
Yeah, I don't think you can trademark a mug.
mug,
However,
right? But
make
the
sure your
brand for the
brand.
mug,
Yeah, yep.
yes. And so we have been just talking about ways to bring in more income as a creative. And that creative being an author, a blogger, content creator, anything that you're out here putting material, let me say, so like book materials, books, yourself, diversify yourself. Let's make more income besides, just writing your book and selling it. There are things to do. Now, there are some authors that, like I said, who have classes that assist other authors on becoming a better author to themselves. Some that have merchandise. We have authors that have let me see what they call them, apps. So like Ashley Antoinette has a book lovers app. Hopeful Heartbreakers has an app. And now Miss K Renee has created an app as well. And these are reader geared towards their readers. So I definitely
Beautiful.
love that idea. You say that again?
I said that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah. So, like I said, we have three. We have one that's a blogger, and then we have two of them that's authors. So, like I said, that's definitely, go ahead.
No, I was just about to say the key to diversifying simply means not relying on one single stream of income. So it helps
Correct.
you build a stronger and firm foundation, and all of your revenue is not solely dependent upon, coming from one location, and solely dependent on you waking up and you putting in the work for the revenue that you get back. We've got to think broader. But like I said, if you put that mindset on that you are a business owner first, a lot of this stuff will almost be a no-brainer. Again, I want to say, don't take on, like we probably listed 15 things that creatives can do. You don't want to take it all. Pick one or two that makes sense for your demographic, for your genre, for the people that you serve, for the community that you serve, and take it from there.
And I like that idea because, I mean, you're right. You don't want to take on too much and then it overwhelms you and then you're doing it by yourself
And
when
then
you
you're
can
losing
actually,
money, because
yeah, you're
one
right.
thing I will definitely, if you know your target audience, if you know your ideal reader, if you have, we talked about this last week, or I believe when you have to know your avatar, and your avatar is
Right.
the specific individual who is most likely to consume your content. If you know and have studied and is seeking to fully understand your avatar, your end user, you will be able to clearly see what types of diversification models that will work and which ones may not work as well. Now you'll
Right.
monitor and keep track after that. But if you are a nonfiction writer that does biographies, there are certain things in the list that we provided before that makes no sense for you, and there's other things that would be perfect and ideal, just because you know your demographic and you know your end user, and you understand the problems that they have and how you can provide solutions for said problems.
That part. Okay. So digital platforms, how, and like this is something I love and I've learned some of these things and I just be telling so many people, you don't understand how much money there is out there on social media. It's, I've learned it's just ridiculous. But leveraging your digital platforms. what are some of the ways that you can use that as a diversity in your income? So like another piece of your income with just using your doing digital platforms.
Well, digital platforms, you could be referring to digital products and services. So let's
Mm-hmm.
online courses and workshops. Should you understand your demographic, you know your end user or the end reader or who your avatar, right? You could build courses on platforms like Teachable. Zoom could even help you facilitate these type of services, and you can have pre-recorded or live workshops. It could be we talked about, I think it was the first episode, how to invigorate and offer new ways to do book signings, in this day.
Right.
So you could have something like at the end of a certain time period, you conduct a feedback, or chat group, or for the conclusion of a book, or a workshop to get suggestions for character suggestions for the next book, or it is like I continue to say, and I'm not saying this just to be cliche, but I mean it. Creatives are in a unique position that not only are you in the business realm, business is the exchange, commerce, the exchange of goods and services for in return for revenue. Not only are you in the business space, but you are a creative. Your mind works, where you come up with beautiful, you have an ecosystem of so many ideas that if you just format them or funnel them through a standard business structure, you could produce income on income on income. So capitalizing on digital products, one, makes you global. Like long gone are the days that people are just printing a book, putting it on the shelves at Barnes and Nobles, or at the airport, and that's that.
Mm-hmm.
You have audiobook opportunities to, but digital makes you global. So you can be sitting at home in Atlanta, or Trinidad or whatever, and someone in Thailand could be engaging in your content could be a part of your community when we use these platforms correctly. But the sky is the limit. The sky's the limit. The number one thing, though, is to make sure that you understand your end user, so that you're not just creating business concepts just to create it. Like ebooks don't work for all communities. For some
Right.
communities, they do well and they thrive, but you will know the difference, or you'll have a greater likelihood of picking digital products and services that work for your community when you understand who your community truly is. So yeah, I hope that kind of answers it. But but it's the options are truly limitless.
It really is. And like you said, you would always, I mean, like I said, I come up with things every day and I'm like, oh, this will work, this will work, this will work. But it's also putting it into play too. And, taking the time to do that. But you're talking about like, so for broader income diversification, we talked about different diversification, just meaning different, as different lines of business, not just, I'm trying to think how other people maybe might think about it.
Diversification, like I said, is
Yeah.
earning it outside of one sole stream of income.
Right.
So
Right.
if you think of just linear, an author writes a book and they sell the book. That's one stream of income. If
One.
they
Right.
host character parties and they charge for that, now that's another stream of income. If they host writer workshops, for people interested in, let's say that it's a romantic novel, like now they host writer workshops for people who would like to, how to write your first romantic novel in 5 simple steps. That's another stream of income. Maybe on Valentine's Day, they host a romantic getaway, at a 5-star resort or something where they're the guest speaker. That's another stream of revenue. Maybe they have love mugs where you don't just buy one mug, get the other free for your soon to be soulmate. That's another stream of income. I
Right.
can go on and on and on, but it's almost like we truly have got to unleash our mind and understand your end user. That it is like, if you leave with nothing else today, you've got to know who you are making and creating these products for, who you are creating this content for, right? If you want revenue, if you just want to write because it's on your heart and it feels good, and you just want to blog because it feels good, so be it. I am a
Right.
financial strategist. I am not, like you need another coach for that, right? But if you want to generate revenue, you have got to understand and consider the person who will be using and most interested in these products, so that you can generate products and services and experiences that will broaden their life and allow them to either escape, or, like I said, it needs to be a problem that's solved. And even in reading books and fiction books or sci-fi books, or whatever your medium is, it provides a solution for people. A lot of people who read romance novels is either because they struggle with romance or they're doing really great with it, so they're infatuated with it. You're still solving a problem. You're giving people an outlet. So when it comes to diversification, understand your end user, understand who you're providing, like these services for, so that you can just layer it and layer it and layer it. And so then it goes from that linear, an author wrote a book and they sold a book, to an author provided a livable experience from a book that they wrote. So that is the ultimate goal and the ultimate understanding for diversification as a creative.
That was a perfect segue to end this because you spoke on everything. Right. You spoke on everything that we talked about. I was going to say, okay, well, why don't you wrap up what we were talking about? And you just did all of that in that one little speech.
How the universe works.
Yes. Just that simple. Just that simple. So we're just saying that you as an author, you as a blogger, you as a content creator, there are many aspects to diversify your income, to make income. So if you don't do nothing else, like she said, if you don't take nothing else away from here, take away that it's money out here to be made and stop leaving it on the table.
Thank you.
That's it. That's all.
If you
just
want
stop.
Real good pillow talk, join Crystal on the next podcast episode with that person. But if you want to generate revenue from the content that you create, from the blessing that you bring to your community, follow some of the tips I provided.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. So Quintaria, again, share where they can find you and anything you have coming up.
Yes. Now, this part is so difficult for me. I know people think like, what? You don't know where to find. Yes. But you can definitely find me at Legacy by Quintaria. That's our handle on Instagram and Facebook. You can also go to thebruntonapproach.com, our website, and _ Brunson Approach. We have a business page there as well. But you can Google me, and I'm out there. I pop up. You can Google Quintaria Brunson, and it will connect you to me as well. We have so many wonderful things coming up. One thing for this community is we are putting together a Pen to Profit workshop for you all. So we will have details by the time we conclude this. So for those of you who want more hands-on support, or you want just, like a tangible DIY, how do I get these things done? Because again, it's simple, not easy. It's simple steps that you can put in place so that your business can scale and you can win. We'll have that on the horizon very soon as well.
I love that. I love that. All right, you guys. So thank you for listening as always. And please check me out on Instagram at Books and Soul 1. I'm on Facebook as Books and Soul, TikTok as Books and Soul, but on IG as Books and Soul 1, because somebody got Books and Soul and ain't doing nothing with it. Terrible. Nothing with it. Alrighty. So please be sure to follow the Get Caught Up Podcast on Instagram at Get Caught Up Podcast and on Twitter at GCU_podcast. You can find us on TikTok as Get Up Author Podcast. And also we have a Facebook page, which is the Get Caught Up Author Podcast as well. If you would like to become a sponsor, please follow us. Please visit us on anchor.fm/Get Caught Up. Or if you like to give as a donation, you can do Lord Jesus, see, this is why I have to have notes in front of me because I cannot remember. But if you would like to give us a donation, you can send us a cash app at $U P2016. Again, thank you for listening as always. Bye for now.
Bye for now.